I don't see the chat. What's going on? As always, problems. Say hi. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, this is weird. Okay, at least you see me, that's good. The only thing, which of course probably is not viewable to you, is that when the camera is on me, there's like a fade, a white fade. So, well, it's fine, whatever. It's not a big deal, I would say. Okay, it was a little bit tough to find parking, but eventually, oh, see, there was a parking right there. If I'd seen that before, wouldn't be perfect. Anyways, hello everybody. You hear me breathing because it's quite a climbing now, but we're reaching in literally 1 minute the spot for our beginning. Let's see if, yeah, I think my mother is like way behind. Anyways, okay, bear with me a few seconds because this is a tight and narrow street. Probably she wants to park, I don't know. Okay, she's having some trouble, but I will probably go anyway. You wanna see what I'm dealing with? There you go. Okay, I still see the camera a little faded, but it's fine. Ciao Elisabetta. Hello Ing, Zina, Mick, and whoever is in the chat. Even to the shy ones. Just kidding. Anyways, back on me. Just telling you, very happy that we're starting a new series today, a big one, honestly, the 7 Hills of Rome. Tonight I will give you the new calendar of February, and I'm trying to keep up with that so that at least you have what's going on at least for the next month. So super important as well. This means that this is the first tour of this month, and is the first of the new series, the 7 Hills of Rome. You know, Rome is the eternal city, is the city of churches, is the city of the obelisks, but it's also the city of the 7 hills, and we're starting from the most political one of the hills of Rome, and everything that is around it. Let me just tell you now that part of this hill is also the beautiful and magnificent Trevi Fountain, but we won't see it today. First, because we have so much to see around that literally the tour would take even longer than scheduled. But on top of that is because Trevi Fountain is such a magnificent landmark that it deserves a tour apart, and also because it has been restored before, just for the Jubilee, and so I wanted to dedicate a tour to Trevi Fountain itself, and that's why we won't see it today. But just know that the hill comprehends also the beautiful Trevi Fountain. We will see. It will be kind of like a church galore today, but not just that. Don't worry. And you remind me. So this is your job. That when we are close to 10 minutes to 4 p.m. to get to the presidential house, so that we are able to see the change of guards in case I forget. Okay, so that's your job. Which is in about 45 minutes. Okay, in 45 minutes more or less, you let me know. Now we're starting from I'm already on top of part of the hill, because these hills are actually hills. They're not that big, but they're still hills. Rome has these 7 hills, which, by the way, they're all on one side of the Tiber River, and we have other on the other side, but they're not part of the ancient 7 hills of Rome. Nobody is chatting anymore, so just making sure, say hi again, or send hearts to start the tour. Saying that, let's not forget that these tours are free. They're free tours, they're live, they're in English, and they're supported by you. The more tours are supported, the more we can keep going, of course. I mean, it's very understandable and human. And yes, sorry, my mother is here. Quell'altra è aperta però. Quella. Magna Napoli. E questi sono il giardino pensile che ti dicevo, guarda bene. And okay, you're listening, good. Vai all'altra, è molto bella. Questa. Sorry, my mother eruption. Because she's always taking advantage of the fact that I do tours, and she's like, I want to go to the city center because Rome is so beautiful. I mean, Sunday in the city center, who wouldn't do it, right? Especially because the city of Rome is beautiful, so why not? I need to clean my glasses because this is very, very bad. So give me a second. In the meantime, as I was saying, this tour is supported by you. You can support in many ways. One of the two, of course, is spreading the word. As I always say it, probably you don't do it, but just tell one friend, even two, or even one, I mean, because that makes a difference, you know. You say, hey, you know, I follow this guy in Rome, blah, 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 and he's very interesting, all the tours he does about Rome, and why don't you join him, and etc., etc. Do it. Promise. One friend for each person. And on top of that, you can support by leaving a tip on both PayPal or Buy Me Coffee. The links of this are in the chat below, or in the chat, or in the description of the channel as well. So in the description of the tour and in the description of the channel, you find them there. As always, if you have any problems, you can contact me on Messenger. And sorry, the gimbal is not very stable. Okay, you can contact me there on Messenger, and I will give you the details there as well. Now, sorry, I'm monitoring a situation. Anyways, now we start from a church which has scaffoldings, as you see, but still worth a mention, because look how beautiful it is on top of the hill. I of course I didn't know about the scaffoldings on this one, but still we can admire all of its beauty. This church is called Church of Saints Dominic and Sixtus. Why? In honor of the Dominican order, of the founder of the Dominican order, Saint Dominic. And oh, my mother asked me if it was open, and it's open, but I told her that it was closed. My bad. Sorry. Maybe I should call her again. My bad. Anyways. Well, you're lucky enough because the church looks to be open and it was supposed to be closed. So, we'll see. In the meantime, we are outside. And so, because of the founder of the Dominican Order, Saint Dominic, and Pope Sixtus, and because of this this is the name the church has, Saint Sixtus the Second. Let me do it like that way. Yeah, much better. So, built in the middle of the 16th century. It wasn't completed until the 17th century though, so it took quite a long. And we have a very decorative facade, as you can tell. There are 4 statues of Saint Thomas and Saint Aquinas, which you probably can see only the heads. Where is my finger? You see their heads there? Because there's scaffoldings under. Those 2. But then on top of it, so Saint Thomas and Saint Aquinas on the lower part. I love that people always ask me for permission to pass. Yes, of course. And on top, in the upper part, we have Saint Dominic and Saint Sixtus, which are the ones that give name to the church. And plus, on top of it, the 8, as you can count, the 8 flaming marble candelabra above the tympanum, and as well as for the beautiful access staircase, which you're not able to see, but maybe you have an idea. Unfortunately, it has scaffoldings, which is initially single, so it starts as a single staircase, and then opens like a pincer to reach the elliptical churchyard. Even if there are scaffoldings, you can still get an idea. Now we'll try to see the interior, because it looks to be open, even if I knew it was closed, but we'll try. But in case, we'll go to the next church. Just think that the interior, particularly rich in frescoes and marble. Let me see. It looks open. Okay, we'll try. Marble decorations, and such as those used by Bernini for the high altar and for the first chapel on the right. So we'll try to see that chapel. Church is open. Yeah. Wow. You're lucky. Perché?
C'è una funzione, non si descrive. Vietato scattare foto e prendere cose. C'è anche dentro il sacerdote, non vuole, glielo dico.
Okay. Va bene.
Dopo, quando è finita, magari sì.
Vabbè, peccato.
Vabbè, ma c'è tutti i giorni aperto.
È
tutti i giorni.
Ma io vengo oggi.
Vabbè.
Peccato.
Entri a vederla se
No, magari sto qui da un attimo da fuori e vado via. Okay, so we can enter, but there's a mass going on, so we're not allowed to enter, but I can give you an idea of what the church looks like.
Puoi filmare perché c'è scritto che non vuoi.
Ma non lo so, è una live, quindi va via.
Sì, però c'è scritto, guarda, anche se
Però
è una live,
scattare
vedi?
foto.
Foto e anche riprese.
Ma non sono entrato comunque.
Non sappiamo che fine fanno quelle cose, perché non bisogna farle.
Okay. Can I say very rude? Because any church is visible and So I really don't understand. I know that every church can do that, so honestly. But anyways, thank you, Elisabetta, for your support. Very much appreciated. And we'll go to the next church. This one that you see on top, it's another tour that I want to do. It's Villa Aldobrandini, and it's a garden on top of it. A pencil garden. What probably you would say in English, roof garden. Now, if I happen to meet my mother again, I'll tell her about the church. Because if you don't have a camera with you, you can definitely enter the church. So it's because I had a gimbal, and that's why. But we can definitely admire this other one and take a look at the inside as well. I'm gonna stop actually here, even if I'm in the middle of a intersection, but at least you have a better view of what I want to show you. Look at this. This one. Well, first of all, let me tell you about that tower that you see on the rear. Very important one. The tower of the Milizie Tower. It gained actually the popular name of the Nero's Tower. And I probably mentioned that a few times while passing on this area. Why Nero's Tower? Because from a popular tradition that originated as an ancient Roman construction for which Emperor Nero watched the Great Fire of Rome, the fire that people think he set on. But actually, it's just a legend. Who really knows the history knows that he didn't actually set any fire. But the legend wants him to stay in the tower while I'm watching the fire on the city. And that's why he gained this popular name. The name, though, may derive from the presence of a military quarter nearby, since it's called the Tower of the Military. Although this has never been proven, so it's just a presumption. It is the largest preserved noble tower in the city. It's about 50-meter high, and it was built in the early 13th century, so long ago. And then the church. Let me see. Sometimes they get upset by gimbal, but yeah, but not just that. They didn't even want a phone, so that was why. But I would never do something that I'm not allowed to. But churches are. I mean, we have been in the Vatican. you know, folks. We've been in the Vatican with no problems. And that's the most important church in the world. So I mean, come on. But anyways, it's fine. As I said, this is a church galore tour, so no problem at all. And as a matter of fact, talking about churches, we have the Church of Caterina da Siena, Catherine of Siena, a Magnanapoli. Magnanapoli means Great Naples, Magnus Naples. This church was built in 1628 and 1628 and 1641. So slightly more than 10 years. And I'll get a little closer. Architect is Giovanni Battista Soria. And born as a place of worship for the monastery of Saint Catherine of Siena. And there are several theories about the name. There are too many to mention, so we won't go there. Many theories about the name Magnanapoli, to be honest, not about Saint Catherine. One of them, just to tell you one, suggests that the name derives from a military fortress of Byzantine origin called Bannum Nea Napolis, from which perhaps also the name of the tower of the Militia, once part of the monastery next to the church. So Bannum Nea Napolis, Magna Napoli. But I mean, it's all the theories are connected to names that are close to the actual one, to the current one. The lower part of the facade, so that one, and I'm not going that close because as you see there's street, so if I go closer you're not able to see. So not for now, we're standing a little farther, but then we'll get closer and even inside if they don't kick us out again. He has this portico that you see, these three little arches, a beautiful central window in the upper order right there, and it's closed by this tympanum and the cross on top. Now let me go a little on this side, so you see this intersection, and we are going that way after, but if you go this way, it's the beginning of Via Nazionale, National Street. Just the name itself should suggest you the importance of the street. National Street is one of the most important streets in Rome, and also one of the most shopping streets in Rome. So if you happen to be in Rome, definitely go to National Street for shopping if you want. Now, why am I talking about that? Because it was laid out in the 19th century, the street that I just showed you. I mean, I didn't show you, but I pointed out. And the street level was lowered, and this raised the church entrance to a height above the street, as you see. And to allow access, to allow access to the church, a double staircase, so both double entrance leading to the portico was then built. Under the stairs, as you see, is the entrance to the crypt. So the little wooden door that you see in the middle is the entrance to the crypt. And to the crypt of the fallen, to be exact. Constructed in 1934, 90 years ago, more or less, and dedicated to the priests who were killed in the First World War. There are in fact two bronze plaques, which we're about to see as a permanent commemoration of the fallen of Rome in the First World War. And I'm showing you the plaques in a few seconds. There you go. This is one of the plaques. And now we're about to see the other side. Now, of course, I don't want to talk much in the church, so I'll show you the other plaque and the interior, the inside of the portico. Of course, it's in Italian, remembering, commemorating the ones fallen, the priests fallen during World War I. But let me tell you, the interior has a single nave. We will see a single nave, rich decoration in many materials: marble, stucco, friezes, paintings, angels, many materials used. The author of the vault is Luigi Garci, who depicted in the vault the glory of Saint Catherine, because remember, this church is dedicated to Saint Catherine as well. And then Melchiorre Caffa, and not Bernini, as many attributed it as first, is the author of The Ecstasy of Saint Catherine, a masterpiece that you should all admire and contemplate, that is neither neatly definable as a relief nor as a statue, but as a picture because of its pieces of different colored marble, and they're arranged in such a way, and you will notice that they suggest dematerialized dark clouds opening up to let the saint ascend to heaven. Now, before we enter, I want to show you the statue dedicated to St. Catherine. And now we'll enter the church, okay? If the signal is bad, let me know in the chat and I will come out. I will probably won't talk because we'll see how the situation is in the church. As you see, nobody said anything. Good church. Happy church. Yes, beautiful ceiling. I kept silent because, as you probably noticed, there were a few people. When there are a few people, there's a big silence going on, and I don't feel like even whispering. So yes. Gorgeous ceiling. Hopefully the signal was good. Was it good? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now we're about to see this time from outside, because I think that it's open only on Friday and Saturday, so not many days a week. A church called San Silvestre at Quirinal, which means by the Quirinal hill, so dedicated also to the hill. The church has very ancient origins. That's why I think it's very worth to mention, also because it's part of the hill. This series is dedicated all to the hills of the city, and so what my intent is to show you most of it. This is the National Street that I was telling you about. It's super long, and it leads to the Republic Square, full of shops. And now we're crossing this heading to the to the most important part of this hill, of course. Still good. I'm glad. So the church I was telling you is that we're about to reach is very ancient. That's probably the reason why I like to mention it also every time I come by here with friends, because its history, it seems to have begun as early, think about it, as early as the 9th century. It is also known as San Silvestre in Cavallo. Cavallo. Does it sound familiar as a name? The Cavallo, or horse in English, so San Silvestre at horse. The Cavallo, so again, is a reference, the horse is a reference to the colossal statues of the Dioscuri. The Dioscuri are the ones that we will see in a bit, so don't worry, I will tell you more about it. The Dioscuri with their horses, who represented a constant presence here on the hill of the Quirinal, and that's why the church is dedicated to them. There you go. We are in front of the church. The particularity of this church is also the shape that, if you think about it, look, it's obliquous this way and then straight this way, so it's very particular, you see, very, very particular. Before we continue with this church, let me just point out, look at the beautiful view. So the church we just entered before, and the tower of Nera right there, and on the left the other church of St. Dominic and St. Sixtus. This is the one of St. Catherine and the tower. Now we just climbed a little because it's a hill, remember that, and we're in front of this church. Let me thank okay, I can mention the name because it says Nun bought coffee on Buy Me Coffee, so thank you, Nun. But if you tell me who you are in the chat, I will thank you even more properly. Okay, thank you. Now this was in let's go back to 1877. The authorities announced, let me just go a little bit on top, so better view. Do you see a white fade on the screen as well, or is it just me? Just let me know. So, as I was saying, the authorities at the end of the 19th century announced that the street outside would be widened, and as a result, 2 chapels were demolished, and part of the ceiling was also dismantled. And the difference in height of about 9 meters between the church and the road was masked by a new facade. And now I go lower. This one designed by architect Andrea Busirivici, and with a fake entrance portal. So now listen. The new frontage is in fact, so the one that you're seeing now, this one is in fact only decorative. The actual entrance to the church is through this small doorway that leads to an internal staircase. Very interesting to about this church. So again, this is fake and this is real. Nothing on the screen, I'm glad. Okay, we happen to be here on Friday or Saturday. Even if it's not part of the tour, I promise we will get in. It's a beautiful church. Even if you're not a church person, religious person, church is always beautiful to see because they're amazing. I want to show you why fake, because you may have noticed from that far, but you may notice it now. The door, look at the door. It doesn't have any keyhole, it doesn't have any opening and handle, you see? It's just one big piece altogether. So very interesting, many people don't notice that. And of course, as always, this one instead is actually a door. And the actual one, you see? You can tell. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for your support. And again, to the person named None, I'm sorry. But now, before we reach the top, which we are perfectly on time probably for the changing of guards, but before that, we are reaching a beautiful place, and again, not open many days a week, but we do tours on Sunday, so that's why we need to stick with that. But again, if I happen to be here, I will show you again the inside. This, the ones that we're reaching on the left are the Montecavallo Gardens. They're part of the Palazzo Colonna, which we'll see in a bit, which is one of the oldest and largest private palaces in Rome. Probably most known for the beautiful and majestic Galleria Colonna. So look how beautiful this little entrance here. Galleria Colonna, which, let me mention, is what Mickey has been asking me to for quite a long time. I want to go there, I want to go there, I want to go there, I want to go there. We will eventually. Because she's obsessed with that. She wants to go there so bad. It's such a beautiful gallery. If I happen, of course, to go and film it, I will do a special tour on that gallery, because it's one of the most beautiful galleries in the whole world. No kidding. But you see this magnificent staircase and entrance. Look how beautiful. These are the gardens. And by the way, the gallery houses the art collection of the family Colonna, of course, including masterpieces painted by leading Italian and foreign artists between the 15th and 17th century. And it's inside this beautiful gardens. So you happen to do all the stairs like that, go up, and then the gardens are up there. Beautiful to see. We will happen to go in some other tours, maybe not on Sunday, because they're not open on Sunday. This hill is full of important landmarks. It's unbelievable. Now, still on the left, the Scuderie del Quirinale. Scuderie del Quirinale, which in English would be the Quirinal Stables, also called Papal Stables. These ones. Now, as soon as I reach them, I will show you better. Were built in between 1722, 1732. The palace stands next to the Colonna Gardens, the ones that we have just seen. Thank you, Cynthia. Your first time here. Okay, so thank you for the support, Cynthia. Thank you so much. You're welcome. First time on my tours, hopefully not the last one. And these are the Scuderie. Now I'm gonna try to actually cross, because it's way better to show you from farther. Non si può entrare?
No, fino alle 4 no.
Ma c'è il cambio?
C'è la guardia, sì.
Ah, ok, poi si può entrare. Okay, we're not allowed to enter until 4 in the square, because there's the changing of the guards. So that's perfect, because that's exactly when we need to enter. In the meantime, we enjoy the rest of the tour. So this old palace that goes in front of the presidential house, it goes from where we were before until down. And think that the palace stands next to the Colonna Gardens, as I mentioned before, but on top of that, it also stands on top of the archaeological remains of the great Roman temple of Serapide. Look how big it is. I can even fit it in the screen. And why so important? Because the building covers more or less 3,000 square meters over several floors. The stables building was a working stable as late as 1938 when it was modified to park cars. Can you believe it? Rather than horses and carriages. Look how still big it is. The less than perfect conditions of the building and the desire to turn it into a museum called for a decision to entrust a restoration and the restoration project to the famous Italian architect Guy Aulenti. You probably heard of it when maybe touring in Milan. Gaulenti is the famous architect who did also the famous Aulenti Square in Milan, one of the most modern areas of the city, even though Milan is pretty modern itself. As you see, it goes all around this beautiful building. And why so important? The first exhibition was inaugurated in 1999, so not long ago actually, when I moved to my new house. But that's not important. With a series of masterpieces from, and it's one of my favorite collection, the Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg. It was also the first time that, think about it, very important, that such a broad selection of works of art from the famous Russian museum ever left their St. Petersburg home. They're doing rehearsals. Okay, now before we go on, because I'm already spoiling and I don't want to, just let me tell you that there are many paintings inside here, 100 paintings and drawings by the most famous artists. So, you know, sometimes you come to Rome for other things rather than museums, and you think, okay, you know, Louvre is more famous than maybe, I don't know, we have of course the Sistine Chapel and other, but think of also the Quirinal stables, because it's one of the most magnificent things that Degas, Monet, Renoir, Cézanne, Gauguin, Rousseau, Vlaminck, Derain, Vallotton, Vuillard, Sisley, Pissarro, Matisse and Picasso, they were hosted and they're still hosted most of their jobs here since back then. So very, very amazing job. Thank you, Cynthia, again for your support. Thank you so much. Okay, now Roman statues, perfect on time. Okay, this is perfectly. I was good on this. Let me tell you, because we are 15 minutes away from the beginning of the changing of guards, so it's perfectly on time. Now here they start the Roman statues. There are 7 large ancient Roman statues placed inside niches, as you see. I'm going in the middle of the street, even though I should be careful because it's a road. So in the meantime, I'm looking at the street. Look at these niches. They go all around. There are 7, and placed here, transferred here in 1866. Thank you, Ing. At the behest of Pius IX, as reported in a Latin inscription commemorating this event, which is we are about to see now. In which it is indicated that here, under the pontificate, of Pius IX, this road was open to facilitate, to ease the access to the hill. And the remaining, I feel like it's too zoomed, but I don't know, I can't do much about it. if you hear some trumpet, it's because they're already rehearsing for the changing of the guard. Now a little intro to the Quirinal, since we need to wait a few minutes before the changing of the guards.
Là, c'est un complexe énorme.
Is, and now you can see also the remaining statues and the street a little right there. And the beautiful sky today in Rome. To be honest, this winter has been very good to us. You see all those people there? It's because they're waiting for the changing of the guards. We will see, as well as promised, or maybe if you didn't know, well, then it's a little extra for you. Now we can already see part of the Quirinal Hill. The Quirinal Palace. Let me intro a little. In the meantime, that we are waiting for the changing of the guards. Again, one of the 7 hills, and was the Collis par excellence, the hill par excellence once. I mean, still today in a way, because acquired a very a great strategic importance and was soundly fortified ever since antiquity. And as a matter of fact, it was enclosed within the Servian walls, which were built around the city in the 4th century before Christ. And here also stood the temples dedicated to the god Quirinus, who lent his name to the hill. So that's why we call it Quirinale, because of the god Quirinus. Now, we should probably go back to, or maybe since we're here, we will do it after. Okay, this is the good of the live. And in the meantime, we'll keep staying here, and I'll tell you more about the palace, okay? Which, and then we'll do the Dioscuri, which I promised before. Now, the design of the palace was completed during the pontificate of Borghese Pope Paul V, by Flaminio Ponzo, and after his death by Carlo Maderno. I'm mentioning them because, of course, 2 big architects. And the facade, which you're already seeing part of it, but you will see even more when we get closer because of the changing of the gods, as a large portal. And some people are saying that there's more space on the other side. And but I don't know if going back to the other side, well, we'll see. Anyways, this large portal is flanked by two columns on a high plinth that support the architrave, above which are 2 lying statues of Saint Peter and Saint Paul. We'll see if we can get closer and maybe see part of it. You see the columns right there. All these people waiting for the changing of the guards. This is also a magnificent view for the sunset. If we're going straight that way, you know what happens? And then to the right, Trevi Fountain. So we're really, really close, which again is part of the hill. And as always, I like to show you everything, but I told you before that Trevi Fountain is such a magnificent landmark that it deserves a tour apart. But so I'll tell you more about the fountain in a tour apart. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the history, and then maybe more about the facade, because now we cannot actually see it much. But in the meantime, let's enjoy a little about the history, at least the most particular spicy things, as I like always to mention in my tours, the curiosities. And we're going back to the Napoleonic era here, when the Napoleonic troops occupied Rome and captured Pope Pius VII. We're talking about the beginning of the 1900s here. They deported the Pope to France. So listen to the story because it's beautiful and spicy. The Quirinal Palace was then selected by Napoleon to be his residence in the capital, and in preparation for his permanence, for his stay in Rome, which actually never took place, the palace was adapted to the needs and tastes of the neoclassical period. So his tastes, Napoleon's tastes. In order to bring the necessary changes, architect Raffaele Stern, who was in charge of the restoration works in this case, coordinated a large group of famous artists such as Dominic Ingres, the Danish famous sculptor Thorvaldsen, you probably heard of him, and also Felice Gianni. And when Pope Pius VII returned to Rome and regained possession of the Quirinal Palace in 1813, he immediately got to work in an effort to erase all possible traces of the Napoleonic occupation. And you know what he said? Where the French have placed idols, we shall place Madonnas. That was his famous sentence when this happened. A little history of the palace, very interesting to know. But anyways, pay attention also to what I'm saying now. Why the Quirinal Hill is so important? Because of this palace, of course. We have many buildings around, as you saw, churches and gardens and stuff. But the most important thing of this hill is definitely what we have here, the Quirinal. It's the presidential house today, at least nowadays. Presidential house. And as every hill is important for something. This is the most political one, of course, having the presidential house on top of it. But every hill is important for something. Like the Capitolium Hill, when we'll go, is the house of the mayor. I mean, not really the house, but where the mayor works. So you will see in this series, this magnificent series, how beautiful it is, because every hill is super important, and so there's no way that you won't like this series, because on every hill you will see something magnificent. Now, as I mentioned before, the presidential house nowadays, but well, let's go back in time again in 1870, so little after Napoleon, during the Savoy reign, with the capture of Rome and the annexation of Rome to the Kingdom of Italy, becoming finally the capital, the Quirinal Palace became the residence of the royal family. So before being the presidential house. I'm probably speaking too fast today. It comes just naturally. But in order to transform the ancient papal palace into a royal residence, several rooms were completely renovated and mostly decorated in the lavish French vogue of Louis XV. And since 1946, the architectural structure and the interior decoration of the Quirinal Palace complex have never changed. So, very interesting story. Now, a little curiosities about the palace. Think that he has. How many rooms does he have? Okay, let's do a little quiz. While I'm quizzing you about this, I'm telling you some other curiosities. First, the famous Trevi Fountain, as I said before, is part of this hill, but you knew this because I told you since the beginning. He hosted 12 presidents of the Italian Republic until now. So we have had 12 presidents until now, and the last president, the current president, was elected twice. It was the first time in Italy that this happened since the president of the Republic. It lasts 7 years. So being elected twice means 14 years in power. is more of an image of Italy. Let me tell you, the President of the Republic is more like a queen in England or the king, whereas like the real commander-in-chief is the Prime Minister, which nowadays for the first time is a woman. Giorgia Meloni, you probably heard of her since she's pretty popular. And the palace extends for an area of 110 square meters and is the 10th largest palace in the world. Think about it, 10th largest palace in the world. No kidding, you're seeing just the front, but it's super long and it really extends widely and also in length. 20 times the area of the White House. 20 times the area of the White House. So think how big this palace is. So anyways, nobody responded. I'm gonna tell you, the palace houses 1,200 rooms. 1,200 rooms. Amazing. Now we are about to see the changing of the guard, so I'm gonna tell you a little bit before we actually start, so perfectly on time. Of course, this palace is a tourist destination, so if you come here, I'm sure you're gonna happen to pass by. But not just for the palace and the gardens and everything that we've seen, but also for the changing of the guard, which takes place every Sunday at 4. That's why we're here in summer. They're about to, okay, the changing of the guard is coming, so let's enjoy. I will continue after. This is too beautiful. They are reaching the top, and that's why they will open the square, and so we are joining them on top of it. Okay, we're ready to enter finally. As I was saying, 4 p.m. on Sunday in winter, 6 p.m. in summer. The President's Honor Guard is represented by special military corps made up of 80 corazzieri. Corazzieri are the selected corps of Carabinieri. Carabinieri would be the local police of Rome, just to give you an idea. It represents one of the most spectacular military corps in the world, and the pride, the splendor of horses and armor offer a show that has nothing to envy, of the equally well-known changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace. And of course, we're waiting to enter during the ceremony, accompanied by the band of the Finance Guard, with a series of music that culminates with the national anthem of Italy. And the corazzieri, they're also on a horseback, perform a series of very suggestive choreography. We're ready to enjoy this beautiful show. Let's stay in silence now. tell you, I don't deserve tips for the tour itself. I'm sweating and I'm going back to the band very quickly. I deserve those for this. I literally climbed there and put my phone between those capitals there and show you for this whole time I was dying. Anyways, let's go back to the band, which will end shortly. And now we're descending from seeing the corpse from close and the ending. And that's why all the people are leaving. But at least we have a beautiful view of the corpse from close now. Sorry for not talking much, but you know. See, when I decided to start from the Quirinal Hill, I said, let's start from the most quiet one. It's political, it must be quiet. No, actually political is not quiet. And now we can finally enter the square. How beautiful was that? How beautiful was that? Let me see the comments now. Thank you for the camera work. Let me tell you, it was the most difficult part. As I said before, if I deserved any tape on this tour, it's because of the camera work, not because of the infos I gave you. The band is still there, so we can get closer. In the meantime, let me thank Carla and Willow Misty Parks. Thank you so much, Willow. And now we can get closer. Now it's been probably what 25 minutes on this, and I don't want to bother you much because probably some of you want to see the rest, but we'll still hear the music. And you know what we can say in this case? This is what a live tour sound like, huh? Oh, this is the famous by Verdi, Giuseppe Verdi. We should probably hear this one while I'm telling you some of the history. Why not? Sorry that I took so much. So this is finally the Quirinal Palace while we hear the band going on. And as I was trying to tell you before, the portal. The portal that has is very large. It has just two columns, as you see on the sides. On a very high plinth, and that support the architrave, and then above we have those two statues on the tympanum that are the statues of Saint Peter and Saint Paul. You also see a plaque on the portal with the name of Paul V, and it's surmounted by the loggia, the lodge of the blessings, just like the one in the Vatican, the Lodge of the Blessings, commissioned to Gian Lorenzo Bernini in 1638. In the center of the loggia, we have a high relief depicting the Madonna and child. Instead, the short tower that you see here on the left was constructed in the 17th century by Urban VIII to assure security to the palace, and together with a vault with this wall built all around the perimeter of the gardens and an enlargement of the quarters of the Swiss Guards. Now, we still have a few things to see before ending the tour. We'll abandon the band. I'm sorry, but I mean, if you want, I can stay, but I assume that you may want to see also the outside part. And this is the Presidential Palace in all of its splendor. Yes, Carla, we have a changing of the guard, and as I mentioned before, probably you were not still in the chat, nothing to envy to the one at Buckingham Palace. And it's actually one of the most beautiful changing of the guard, not because it's of my country, but because it was recognized that way. Yes, it was exactly like being here, because this is the beauty of the live, and that what makes the difference with a non-live tour, which sometimes we are forced to do. The band is continuing with its music. We'll continue with our tour, telling you about the Dioscuri, which is probably the one that we couldn't mention before. Look at the beautiful sky, and the Dioscuri, Castor and Pollux, were twin brothers, the one that you see on this beautiful fountain, who according to the legend were born of the god Zeus and Leda, the queen of Sparta. They are the patrons of the horsemen, and in fact the name Monte Cavallo, Mount Horse, given to the area itself, comes from the two statues, because they were referred to by the people as the horse tamers. Again, cavallo in English means horse. The statues are Roman copies of the 5th century before Christ Greek originals from the baths of Constantine, and before the famous Palazzo della Consulta, so the one that you see here. We're not done yet, so stay with us, stay with me. And they were arranged parallel to each other, but they were not visible from the crossroads of the Quattro Fontane. So the Pope decided to move them farther back to create harmony and close to the scenario of the street that it's crossing. So Via 20 Settembre, September 20th Street, on the side of the Quirinal Hill. And the commission was given to Domenico Fontana. We mentioned him many times, as he constructed many of the fountains here in Rome. Oh, the music now is just amazing. It's Nessun Dorma. You probably heard it from the famous Turandot. And then later was replaced by this actual one that we see today. In 1782, the architect erected a 50-meter high obelisk on top, which is 50 feet more or less, from the mausoleum. This one comes from the mausoleum of Augustus, and it's right in the middle. In 1818, instead, the composition was finally completed with the replacement of the original basin with the present one. Now, let me tell you, I mean, once was used as a drinking trough for livestock, but the basin measures around 24 meters, which is 80 feet in circumference. But you don't really notice that, because despite this amazing, while the band is really interrupting my speech, but I totally get it. Despite this, it seems almost very small. I mean, it crushed as it is by the size of the horses and the obelisk. I know, the music really renders this tour even more amazing. And it continues on and on. Of course, that's why I couldn't really... I mean, I know you enjoyed it, but very, very interesting is that the height of the Dioscuri are the two statues there, Pollux and Castor, are exactly as high as the horses. So this is a very strange peculiarity about this fountain statue. Now we face this palace in front of us, which is il Palazzo della Consulta, and it's called like that because it was built by Pope Clement XII to house the sacred congregation of the Consulta. Consulta in English would be the Papal State Council. And this happened in 1737. Today is the seat of the Constitutional Court of the Italian state, and it stands on the remains of the northern sector of the Baths of Constantine. And on the main portal, which you probably can already see, the statues of justice and religion. Now, na, 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 na. This is the most famous. Na, 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 na. Rispondeme la luna, se no so guai. You remember we used to sing this with Miki every tour at the end? So this is a perfect ending. It's the most famous Roman songs. Dammi una mano, fai dire sì. Prestami il ponentino, più malandrino che c'hai. Roma, Regge Mermocolo stasera. Roma, fa la stupida stasera. Dammi una mano a fai e dite sì. Più brillarelle che c'hai e un friccico di luna, se no so guai. Fai sentire che è quasi primavera. Mandali meglio grilli per far cri-cri. Prestami il ponentino, più malandrino che c'hai. Roma, Regge Mermoccolo stasera. Roma, Regge Mermoccolo stasera. Roma, Regge Mermoccolo stasera. And I guess this is the end. Let me tell you, I didn't remember it being so long. We're really 40 minutes from the beginning of this. So great, huge work from the band. Honestly, great applause for them. And yes, this is the end. This is the end. Great applause for them. And for this tour that actually happened to be the magnificent, the beginning of this new series. Oh, now they keep going. Wow. I guess they keep going. Now I want to show you also the sunset and the view from this beautiful square as we end this tour. If you, apart from that crane there, you say crane, right? Yes, you do. Apart from that, the beautiful view. While we hear the band as well. And what do we see behind the crane? the magnificent Vatican, St. Peter's Church. How beautiful my city is. Okay, I knew this tour would have lasted a little longer than expected. 1 hour and 40 minutes. And now the band is leaving, and we'll probably see the band coming here under. No, they're actually entering finally the palace. It's too far for us to see, and for me too far to join them in a quick way, but this is the ending of the band music. Amazing. Look at the beautiful view of the palace from here, the tower, the presidential hall, the Palazzo della Consulta, the obelisk, the Trevi Fountain, the Quirinal stables, and all the churches that we have seen. You probably were not expecting this beautiful tour. Never underestimate a tour in Rome with Adri, okay? Beautiful sky apart from the crane. Let me move a little so you can actually see the cupola and the dome. There you go, right there. Just flew by, right? I mean, I agree, because it was just magnificent. Even me, I mean, apart from my arm that probably needs a little rest, but apart from that, I knew that probably you would enjoy. Maybe some people left, but I mean, tours are in a way personalized, and I felt like this was a great occasion to see the changing of the guard, and also one of the most beautiful changes of the guard in the world. Thank you, Melanie, for your support. And on that support, thank you for all the support, and let me remind you that again, as always, as I do at the end of the tour, this is a free tour, but supported by you, supported by you're spreading the word with your family and friends, but also by supporting with a tip for the tour itself, for the infos and blah blah blah. And to support the tour, you can do so by leaving a tip on both PayPal or Buy Me Coffee. The links are here in the description below this tour, or in the description of the channel. If you have any problems with that, you can still contact me on Messenger, and I will give you the details. With a good glass of wine. Now I'm joining my mother at the church, Argentine church, where she's making empanadas, Argentine empanadas, with a glass of wine. Yes, she's always asked me to go, and I never do, so this time I will probably surprise her with that. So she'll be happy about it. Now, oh my god, I felt like I talked for 2 hours, and actually yes, it's almost 2 hours. Sorry for making it that long, but you know, the band helped me with that. Thank you so much for staying with me. Next Sunday we have a tour, so don't worry about it. It's still not sponsored on Facebook, but don't forget that every Sunday we have a tour, okay? We have a scheduled one in 2 weeks with the other series, the Villas of Rome, and to be exact, we have Villa Doria Pamphili. Don't miss that one, because it will be amazing. Next Sunday will be sponsored on Facebook, so don't miss the sponsor, so you'll know exactly where we're going. But I already have an idea, maybe. Okay? Now, thank you for staying with me, and enjoy your Sunday, and I will enjoy this beautiful weather. Bye, everybody. Bye.